this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your daily horoscope and energetic reading for the Sun moving into Scorpio. Today is Friday the 23rd, and this is a beautiful energy. Now, yesterday we had a ton of energy stimulating us in Neptune and Pisces energy, and you know what, guys, that's water energy, and we got some more water energy coming on the way today. Our Sun is going to be moving into Scorpio, and Scorpio is a water-based energy. It is a very determined energy. It's a very intuitive energy. So to me, when I did all of the individual readings, the one thing that dramatically jumped out at me is that this is going to be a Sun that starts to go in and heal some of these deep wounds that we have, these very emotionally intense soft spots that we have. It's going to ask us to really honestly take a look at ourselves. And it is really going to start to pull out some healing. We have Neptune. On this event, we have Neptune in Pisces. It is going to be conjunct with the moon in Pisces, and then we have the Sun going into Scorpio. Guys, this is a lot of water energy. This is a lot of emotional energy. This is a very intense energy. This is dealing with unconscious realms, fears. This is about awakening the depths of our soul. This is about connecting to spiritual sources. This is about deep healing. And I'm super excited to talk about this because this is awakening your spiritual potential, or this is awakening and healing some of the areas where maybe we have been delusional in the past. Now, the reason all of this energy is doing this is because wherever Neptune is where we are particularly vulnerable. We're naive. It is where we can get deeply wounded. It is where if we get hurt, wherever Neptune is in your natal chart, it is where we pull back and we put up a block and we escape that pain as much as possible. We stay away from it. So that's where we could have areas where fear lies and subconscious sabotaging behaviors, like we don't even want to get close to the source that's ever caused us to get vulnerable wherever Neptune is. So it is time to awaken that area. It is time to take a look at it. It's time for us to acknowledge that those vulnerabilities within us exist, and it's time to heal them. I can't wait to talk about this beautiful energy source and all of this gorgeous water energy deep within our emotions, deep within our unconscious, really awakening our soul, really awakening our purpose. I mean, it's just such a beautiful energy to talk about. So stay tuned, and I will talk about how this is going to affect your Sun and rising sign, even your moon sign. I would listen to, particularly with this one, because the moon is so stimulated in this transit at the time when the energies shift. And you want to go take a look at where all your water energy lies. Scorpio energy, you want to take a look at where Neptune is, and Pisces energy, to see if you're trying to make sense of what's going on with you and why you have all of this crazy energy and why you're being asked of things that you have never been asked of to deal with, maybe you need to take a look at these parts of your chart. Thank you guys so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I'll be right back to tell you how this is going to affect you. Hi Scorpio, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for the Sun moving into Scorpio. So you're, of course, the star of the show, exactly the way you like it. And so I have a lot to talk about with you. Now, when this goes into your first house, this is about the first house literally is your personality, your outward appearance, the way others perceive you. I actually identify I think every astrologer will agree that one of the most powerful energies that you have in your chart is that first house. And a lot of people really identify more with their first house than they actually do with their sun, because their sun is always it's that deep brewing deep within you. It's that authentic purpose. It's where you shine. But on a day-to-day basis, how you interact with others and how others perceive you and what you deal with usually is your first house. And so this is a big transit. The sun is going into where you shine, how authentic you are, and are you aligning your outward perception to match what internally you deeply desire, right? And it's putting a big spotlight on making sure those two align. For you, your ruler is going to be, at the time of this transit, is going to be conjunct with Venus and conjunct with Jupiter, all in Virgo energy. So I think, that itself is a defining energy for you, because it's a little off. It's making you, I think, a little bit more passive aggressive than you normally would like to be. I think you're trying to set up some powerful routines. I don't think that is you're aligned with that all that well. You haven't been overly stimulated to make some big changes. And that is because your other ruler is trining. So Mars in Virgo is trining Pluto. So you have two rulers. And so there's really not a lot of forward momentum up till now. I think what's going to happen is at the time of this energy shift, the moon is going to be conjunct with Pisces energy. So Neptune in Pisces and the moon in Pisces are going to be conjunct. And Chiron, the wounded healer, is going to be working with you. So here's where I believe the energy shifts. Thankfully, the momentum doesn't come from negativity, but from beautiful, lovely sextiles stimulating you to align with a greater purpose, to align with your authentic purpose, and to portray it equally outwardly. So Pluto in Capricorn is going to ask you to stabilize your situation. It wants you to take a look at everything. It wants you to acknowledge what you desire deeply, and then what it takes to get your situation to match this inner desire, this intuitive need to stabilize the situation. And to me, this has to do a lot with personal power. I believe that in the past you've had some poor vices, right? Combativeness and ego, and just the defense mechanisms you use when things don't go your way is you either pull back or you become very combative, defensive, and very controlling. And you have been having a lot of work in those areas. So I think you've been working on balancing and stabilizing those areas. And there's so much beautiful energy wanting to emphasize those areas even more. So I think you feel in control of your life, in control of your situation. And I think there's some emotional fulfillment at this point. So there hasn't been a lot of momentum to want to change. However, with this beautiful Neptune in Pisces, Moon in Pisces, and Chiron in Pisces, all in sextile, as wanting to motivate you to change. Not to tear you down and make you determined to change, but to motivate you, to influence you, to stimulate you to rebuild you. And that's very exciting. And I think for you, that's going to come in at a time when I think you know that the energy is starting to shift, right? You're feeling highly intuitive. You're feeling psychically aware of with energy. It's like you have a second sight at this point. It's like your third eye is opening and you are being awakened, and it's aligning your authentic, deep desires with what you want and what you're determined to have. It's not so much that you're just sitting now waiting around in the background. You're not really feeling stimulated. It's like, you're starting to feel stimulated. You're starting to feel like you want to move away from some of the limiting belief systems that you have. I want you to take a look at where Neptune is in your chart. Super important. And Pisces energy, because for you, this is going to be also an area where you're going to be stimulated. You know, Neptune is an energy source. It's where you're naive. It's where that there is some sort of delusion that lies, or where you want to remain delusional, or where you dream, there's no limits where Neptune is. So go take a look in your chart, find out where Neptune is in Pisces, but specifically where Neptune is and where Chiron is these are great healing energies right now. It's stimulating you. It's asking you to connect to your unconscious realms. I think for many of you, it's just going to be this need. It's going to stimulate you through your intuition. You won't be able to hide from this. This is energy that will be talking to you on all levels from a burning desire from within. And it's like you wake up and you're like, you had no need to do anything, and all of a sudden there's just this deep desire coming from a source where you can't explain, and it's asking you to make some burning changes, and you feel stimulated. You feel the outcome is good. You deeply energetically connect with its purpose, and you know that it's talking to you specifically. It's a beautiful energy. I'm very excited to talk to you about it. This is going to change a lot in your life. As we move forward in these new energies, I believe that there's so much yet to come, so much yet to be revealed. But I think what needs to be energetically stimulated is you need to be connected more with Source. Oh, sorry, I just feel like I got something in my eye. You need to be energetically connected to Source for you to understand the direction of something. Don't know what it is. It's very specific to your purpose, to your gifts, to your deep desires, but it is absolutely something that resides from deep within you. Thank you guys so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi guys, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for the Sun moving into Scorpio. And for you, all of this energy is going to be happening in the 12th house. Now, the 12th house is a big house. So your core, your desire, your authentic purpose is sitting in the 12th house right now. There's something big you are having to deal with. There's something very specific to your purpose, a potential that I don't feel like you feel like you're reaching. Now, this could mean, because Jupiter's been sitting in Virgo energy, which your ruler doesn't really care for all this analytically thinking things through and not taking risks and being conservative, and the heart-based endeavors are all in a debilitated energy source, and Mars even doesn't have its normal gusto and passion. And so I think for you, some of the feelings that you're having with energy, some problems that you're having with energy, is that your primary your primary energy source is sitting with all these debilitated energies, and it's just a bummer. It's kind of a bummer for you, because you like to have fun, you like to engage, you like to have stimulating conversations, and you know, you're having to be a little bit more conservative in your perspectives because, you know, everybody's very hypercritical and getting all butthurt lately. So at the same time all this is happening, we have the moon in Pisces, this sweet little moon in Pisces, deeply intuitive moon, very, very emotional. Lots of people will be very, very emotional around you. And it is in conjunct with Neptune in Pisces. And Chiron, the wounded healer, is going to be adding a little spice to this entire transit. So I think for you, you feel like doing nothing. You know, all these energies are trining Pluto and Capricorn, and I think you feel out of sorts. You know, you're looking back, you need to make a decision, but you're indecisive. I think that you feel like you've gone far enough, and even though you know that there's more stimulating you to move forward, I think because your energy source is off, I want to say that you're doing what it takes to get by, because I think you're figuring things out. Much is being done behind the scenes, by the way, with you. What you appear to be to others, disengaged, emotionally withdrawn, you thinking a lot, you're much more intense, I think, than you usually are. And there's an imbalance definitely in something in your life, and you're trying to stabilize it, you're trying to figure it out, but with your energy source off, I think it can be very difficult for you to figure that out. So sometimes when that happens, you would rather avoid it, do nothing about it, other than deal with it. But I think what's going to happen is that there's a strong emotional desire to connect with the need to overcome some of these things, to make some decisions, to validate these issues. Now, I want to say that for some of you, there is something that you are not in balance about, and I want to say it's a disappointment. There was something that was disappointing. You've had to leave something behind, or you've worked really hard on something and it hasn't yielded the growth or the potential that you thought it would, and you're very disappointed. And I feel like you put a lot of work into it. I feel like you've fronted a lot of the burden in this situation, and I think there's a strong desire to want to leave it behind. But again, it's if this is, it depends on how emotionally vulnerable you are in this situation. And I think that's very hard. You're off. Your energy source is off, and I feel like you are off a little bit for some reason. And I don't worry. These energy sources turn around. You know, these energies aren't going to be conjunct forever. You're not going to have to be conservative forever, you know. So just go with the energies as they are right now. If you're involved in a situation that is not playing out to what you desired, my suggestion to you is maybe there's a karmic reason behind it. Maybe since you're dealing with your 12th house and this has something to do with your core, maybe you need to see where you're not in deep alignment with your purpose, with your authentic desire. And maybe there are relationships in your life that are karmically trying to align you with your higher purpose. And so maybe that's where you're having some of this undoing in your life, this mental undoing, this disappointing feeling that I'm feeling from this reading. This is where you're really starting to take a look at, it's where the unconscious realm is becoming conscious. It's where you're starting to look at everything. I want to say I see a lot of looking back. There's a lot of past in your reading. And even though there's not usually I see stuff like this in a Mercury retrograde reading, but for you, because I think it's the 12th house, and I think your energy source is off. There's a desire that it's pulling you into the negative vibrations of all of this energy. You know, you're in opposition, so you're weighing out two sides to this issue. And, you know, you're getting very honest about maybe your responsibility in this. And when you're accumulating all of this, it's like it's taking a part of you that you didn't anticipate. And so, and maybe this is just taking a look at the karmic reasons behind some of these experiences that you're having right now. I don't think it's a bad thing. I honestly, I don't think that this is a terrible energy. Look, the wounded healer is in here wanting you to take a look at all this stuff. It wants you to dredge it all up. It's pulling all of this stuff. It's brewing all this stuff is coming from deep within. It may surprise you that you even have these vulnerabilities. You may not even have been aware that these vulnerabilities even existed up till this point. And you get this flush of emotion and this intuitive connection, and you're doing all this 12th house work. So there's a lot of unconscious, you know, belief systems that have been blocking you for some time, and you're now seeing them for what they are. And that could be causing you to have some of this energy. I feel it's off, whatever it is. But thank you guys so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi Capricorns, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for the sun moving into Scorpio. And for you, all this is going to be happening in your 11th house. And for you, the 11th house and everybody else represents friendships, dreams, wishes, hopes, and it also represents networking, social networking, media sites, that sort of thing. So for you, Saturn is in Sagittarius, your sweet ruler, and it is going to be squaring off with the moon in Pisces and squaring off with Neptune in Pisces. And the moon is going to be working with Chiron, the wounded healer. So we have a lot of energy going on in this transit. What it breaks down to is a lot of water energy. And when I say a lot of water energy, we're going to be fracking swimming up to our armpits in water. So I want to talk to you about it because this energy is going to make you feel a little bit off. You know, you're doing really good. You know, most of your readings have been so wonderful. I've been so happy to talk to you about it all. Except for this reading. This reading, Saturn is in a particularly like stinker little mood, and it is squaring off with the moon and Neptune, which is then, of course, working with Chiron and Pisces. So we're talking about, okay, so first of all, I want you guys to take a look at where Neptune is in your chart, because that is where you are somewhat naive, where you spend most of your life gaining some clarity in that area. It's where you like to experience delusion. It is where you can get deeply injured, emotionally hurt deeply in wherever Neptune is. It's where your dreams lie. It's where your potential lies. It's where your spiritual connection lies. And it really is what stimulates you to connect to your potential. And this is pretty good. This is good for you to understand, because your career, life path, destiny is all about fine-tuning this. And where Neptune lies is where you can become very famous and very rich, depending on where it is and how it's aspected. So it's actually a really good energy source to know if you're wanting to climb the ladder and get that social status you desire. So for you, you're having a lot of emotional energy asking you some very hard questions. And this is nothing but an emotional reading for me. I don't see any cards where it comes to logic in your reading. Lucky you, right? So Saturn is asking you to take a look at and get control over some areas where you are not being emotionally fulfilled, where you are hiding things from yourself, where you are suppressing fear or disappointment, or where you are suppressing your innermost desires, your emotional expectations. If you are if you are setting a goal and trying to achieve a goal based on status, but you are emotionally withdrawn in certain areas where you actually are hiding what you emotionally desire, I think that those are going to come out during this transit. And then you're going to have to take a look at this. Now, you're getting everything you want, and you're kind of at that point where you're leaving a lot of stuff behind. But I deeply feel I think the solid thing in your life is love. I really do. I wish I could say that it was like fame and status, but I don't think that's it. I feel like you're having to fight for something. It's definitely has to do with your heart and with passion and with your innermost desires. And it's where you're vulnerable, and it's something you're emotionally connected to. But you're not there yet. It is something you're fighting for. It is something that you're liberating yourself from. It is where you are being awakened. And it is where you are finding a deeper connection with a soulmate, with somebody very specific in your life, somebody that you were karmically and energetically supposed to meet. This is probably something to do with friendship. Thank God. Sometimes when I start doing my readings, I don't know where they're going. I just talk, and it's like something is talking through me, and then the light bulb comes on and I know the message. Why can't we just get the entire message? Why do we have to do it as we go along? But anyhow, so for you, I think you're trying to get many of your hopes, dreams, and wishes in a line with how others perceive you. And I believe that a soulmate connection in your life is allowing you the acceptance to move forward with thinking like this. And as you do this, I want you to be aware that you may experience losses in people, in certain social circles, for you to elevate yourself in a way that I don't think you truly understand. You're being awakened, but there's something more. And as you go through these transits, and as you become more spiritually aligned, or as you connect more with energy, whatever your belief system is, I truly and deeply believe that your emotional barometer will lead you along this path. Now, you have to connect with it, and you have to allow yourself to emotionally connect to your you have to allow yourself to connect to your emotional desires. And for you, often you put your emotional desires on hold because you are aligning yourself with monetary gain and social status. And there's nothing that supports that right now. And the soulmate is letting you know that. The soulmate's awakening these desires within you. This soulmate doesn't have to be a lover. This soulmate doesn't have to be your partner. This soulmate can be a friend that you've connected with, that was your guide, and this soulmate is a teacher. And this soulmate is from Saturn. This soulmate is to teach you, is a great teaching energy. And you are going to start feeling this connection to all of this when you separate yourself from the outside world and allow yourself to connect to energy deep within your subconscious, you know, meditating, sleeping, napping, closing your eyes, being alone. All those things are encouraged, or just these beautiful, stimulating conversations with this soulmate, this person that's in your life, that's speaking to me, making you very, very aligned with your purpose. I never know where these readings come from. They just come. Anyhow, thank you guys so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi Aquarius, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for the sun moving into Scorpio. Now, at the time that the sun is moving into Scorpio, which is a water-based energy, one of the deepest and most intense water energy sources out there. We also have the moon that is in Pisces, and we have Neptune and Pisces both in conjunct, and we have Chiron in Pisces, the great wounded healer, working with all of these amazing energies. So for you, all of this stuff is going to be happening in your 10th house. Oh, my minimal. I'm like almost done, and he's like, I need lovies now. Crack whore. My cat's a crack whore. Okay. So anyhow, okay, so when I first was laying out your spread, the one thing that really popped out, my cat, look at him. Hi, what are you doing? Oh, and then my dog's jealous, and my cat, oh my gosh. Oh, I'm almost done. All right. So, for you, okay, they're distracting me, and they're knocking my energy off. Okay. I thought he was going to jump on me. I'm sorry. Okay. So for you, when I saw this is all going off in your 10th house. And for you, I truly and deeply feel that this doesn't have so much to do with career to me. This has to do with purpose and life path destiny. And normally whenever I see the 10th house, I always say career, but I'm not feeling career at all. So Uranus in Aries is going to be, during this transit, when all of this stuff is going on and all this water-based energy, Uranus in Aries is going to oppose Mercury and Libra, and it's going to square off with Pluto and Capricorn. So I want to talk about that part of it. So Uranus is in Aries, and this is asking you to stand out on an individual basis. This is liberating you and helping you understand your potential. During this process, I think what's going to happen is, I think that you're in a state of working through something, and you are very combative about it. You are very defensive about it. There is a stand that you are taking, you are not willing to budge on, and you are firm in this belief system. And you understand what you need now to align and to keep yourself in balance. And I truly and deeply feel that there is a source in your life that is not allowing you the peace that you deeply desire. And so what's happening is your ruler in your ego, in yourself, how you identify yourself, is in opposition with this need to mediate the situation, with this need to work out the situation, talk about this. You're done talking, right? It's on the table. This is the way it is. And when you get like this, you get like this. And so for you, you're very defensive. You're very firm. It is your way or the highway. And you know what? You're done with an imbalance. in a system. You're done with there's some childlike energy in your life. There's some there's either a child that you're having a difficult time with, and it is bringing you much unhappiness, and you are not aligning with this person very well. Or it's an adult that acts like a child that you are having no tolerance with. And this is about moving away from all of that. You know, you've said what you have to say. You're firm in it. It's about getting control over this. Emotionally, you were losing your way, I feel. And that's why I think Saturn in Sagittarius was squaring off with the moon in Pisces and squaring off with Neptune in Pisces, and is working with Chiron in Pisces to heal your emotional path, the emotional toll that this took on you. This has really took a toll on what you feel passionate about and how you pursue your passions moving forward. It has also made you incredibly stronger. You are stronger than you've ever been. I feel that you understand the darkness now as much as the light sources. Now your light has dimmed a bit. And I think that that's where this emotional healing is going to happen, and the optimism and the enthusiasm. And that's where you're going to have to surrender your ego to the fact that you were subjected to this injustice, and where you're going to probably experience the greatest amount of healing. You know, anytime that you're broke down in anything, that area that you're being broke down is where you're being rebuilt. And I believe that there's a strong rebuilding, and I believe you're walking away from this wounded, but with a new perspective. And I believe that you're not going to yield to these imbalances in your life anymore. And, you know, I want you to take a look at where Neptune is in your natal chart. And where Neptune is where you're naive. Where you often experience delusion, and where you have to surrender your ego and you have to accept limitation, and that's where you connect to your potential. And all this Pisces energy is that's where it's all being stimulated. So where you have this wound, right, is where you're going to energetically excel. But you got to you have to understand this wound for what it is, and the karmic reason for why you endured it. And you need to celebrate that you are moving past it, and that there was a reason for it. And you have to stand firm on something. You have to stay strong, stand firm, and fight for what you believe in, and don't let anybody tell you that you are not right. Don't let anybody knock you off the balance. Don't let anybody steal your passion anymore. Passion for how you should be treated. And I think that will put you back on the right path. I often believe that in life, we go through life and we always are constantly on this road, and then we come to the end of the road and we have splits. And we go along the road for a real long time, and then we have another split. We have to choose right and left, and there's no sign. And I believe that sometimes, since we don't know, we look at the one that looks best, right? And so like say you look down one road, and that road is tree lined, and there's a pond, and there's birds, and it's all floating, and it looks good, right? Energetically, it looks good. And then you got the other road that is just barren and long, and it looks hot, and there's no trees. And of course, we're going to choose the best one, the one that looks plush and happy. But often that's where we get knocked on our ass, because maybe there's bears and there's there's things that live in the forest that you can't see through the trees. Had you walked the other way, you would have a full visual and you would be able to keep yourself safe. But that way looked better, so you went that way. Don't know why I said that. Whatever. But that's what I see. I see something like that. And you're going to know to take the path that offers least resistance, and you're not going to choose the path that offers. You don't need combativeness in your life and fighting and stands and drama for you to understand that. I mean, knowledge is power at this point. That's what I believe. Knowledge is power. That's what I saw. Anyhow, guys. These readings, I never understand them. And actually, until I look back on them and I'm like, oh, that was a really good point. But anyhow, thank you guys so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner. And I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, Pisces. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner. And this is your energetic reading for the sun moving into Scorpio. Now, we got to talk. Pisces, wow. Okay, first of all, I feel like you're being touched by an angel, touched by spirit. You are being awakened. You are being healed. You are in alignment. And if you're not, you will be. Something special is going on with Pisces and Pisces energy. Wherever Pisces energy is, wherever Neptune is in somebody's chart, it is such a healing and glorious energy. But before we do this, I need to let you know what's going on. So the sun is in Scorpio, which is the fellow water energy, which is why I believe that you can understand this energy source so well for you. Now, understand that the sun is going into Scorpio. This is awakening your deepest desires. It is putting a spotlight on what you deeply want. You cannot get more aligned with your intimate needs, emotional desires, and your authentic purpose than you can during this transit. In fact, this day is just, if you meditated on any day, this would be the day to really plug you in and connect you to source, whatever you believe that to be. Now, all of this stuff is going to be happening in your 9th house. And the 9th house is the house of philosophy, of spirituality, of elevated thinking. I mean, it's a big house. There's a lot to talk about. So for you, Neptune in Pisces, your ruler, is going to be conjunct with the moon in Pisces. And then Chiron in Pisces, the wounded healer, is going to be working to heal your emotional wounds, the places where you don't allow yourself to acknowledge very often. These are the deepest wounds that you have somewhere in your subconscious. So if you have any fear, any blocked energies, and any limited belief systems that are preventing you from moving forward, I believe during this transit they are going to bubble to the surface. So they're going to bubble to the surface, and I'm going to show you this card, and I want to explain this card. So this is the Tower card. It's a very it's an awakening energy. This is the Awakener. You are going to get a shakeup. It's a jolt. And there's something special about you. When this is happening, this is going to jolt you deep down to your deepest levels, but also at an emotional level. So it will provide you with the emotional momentum to want to acknowledge this and not escape from it. It's very important with all of this Pisces and Neptune energy and Chiron and Pisces energy that you do not numb this away. A lot's going to hit you. It's going to feel like a bolt of lightning. It's going to feel like you are just feeling energies and you don't know why, or they're awakening parts of you that you either suppress or that you don't acknowledge very often. Intuitive, responsive, psychic energies, the need to be connected to a spiritual purpose, maybe awakened with inside of yourself, maybe where you were not a person who could connect to either metaphysical sciences or religion or to a higher purpose. Maybe there's something brewing from deep within that's making you curious enough and providing you the emotional stimulation to want to take a look at this. There also could be a deep yearning that something is changing in your life and that you need to broaden your perspective on something, and something that is very dear to your heart. Now, I showed you the Tower card. I showed you that because that's Saturn in Sagittarius. It's going to be squaring off with all of this energy. So you've got the planet of control, right? Butting up against the energy that can't be controlled. So this is going to feel very bipolar. It's going to feel very cloudy. It's going to make you feel overly stimulated, and you may not totally know how to interpret all of this energy. It's going to feel like you are getting a lot of energy from a lot of different sources, and you may not know which one to concentrate on, but I would pay attention to all of them because they all have special messages. And sometimes, instead of escaping and, you know, taking something to hide from all this energy, I would probably take a nap, sleep as much as possible, and try to find a way to connect to all of this energy. Maybe in the unconscious realms might help pull out the meaning for all of these mixed messages that you're getting. The energy is coming from so many different sources. You don't maybe know how to validate them. And so usually in the past, what you've done is pretty much just concentrated on what you have before you, and you don't really validate the new sources of input that is coming in, and I don't want you to do that. This can make you feel vulnerable. It can make you feel like you're at an imbalance, where you're on an emotional roller coaster. Everything is going up and down and up and down and up and down, and it is very hard for you to understand how to align with this energy. All of this energy is pumping you with a lot of stimulus to awaken you, to jolt your sense of reality, to make you acknowledge that there is more to the potential than you are allowing yourself. You're hiding. It's allowing you to connect into your intuition. Your emotional barometer is going to be very high right now. I would let that do a lot of my decision making as far as aligning with myself, but not so much externally. Meaning you're going to be very emotional. You're going to feel very vulnerable. You're going to feel very energetically. You might feel tired. You might feel like there's so much stimulus, you're overwhelmed, and even a heart-based person may not provide you with the support that you need, because they're not going to understand these messages if they don't have Pisces energy in them, or if they don't have a lot of water-based energy. If they don't identify with with emotions very well, if they're like a narcissistic person or a person who does not allow emotions to flood or make their choices for them, you're going to seem ridiculous to them maybe. And so it's not about turning to your loved ones, because I think that that's where you're going to experience opposition, and that's where you're going to feel the most out of control in this energy, and that you're going to feel not supported. I think, unless this is a soul-based connection, but a karmic relationship won't align with you, but a soulmate would. If that person is in your life. This is about surrendering your ego and your limiting belief systems. It is about aligning with Jupiter and allowing it to expand you in an area that maybe you had closed yourself off to before, and it's going to bubble up some stuff to the surface. If some of you are just involved in poor coping methods and you're really out of control, then, you know, the powers that be are wanting to stabilize your situation and want you to get some control over your situation. So you could have some obstacles that you're faced with, and that could cause you this imbalance, and also the stimulation to want to change your situation. But I think for the most part, although what I energetically believe that most of you will be feeling is just a higher sense of purpose. There's something brewing from within. I don't think you're going to understand or deeply know why it's there or what the reasoning is behind it. And I do believe that you're going to be so stimulated by energy that you know something has changed. You know that there's a message here, and it's just going to take you some time to figure it out. It's beautiful reading, beautiful. I feel very powerful. I do believe that this day is going to has the potential to be very hard, very, very hard, and very emotionally overcharged. That might be a way to say it. But for the most part, just understand this is an entire transit. So we have some work to do to align our innermost desires with our emotional well-being. Thank you guys so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event.